Do you hear that? I'm already throwing.
Dude,
I've already thrown my trachea.
Dang.
Thrown it?
I don't think you
Can you
throw
throw
I think I've blown my trachea.
There
Wow.
you go.
But we got a special guest
We
today.
do.
Yay.
Very special.
Oh yeah.
Very.
I think John, you should introduce him.
Very
I'll
special.
be my honor.
He's been in your life group for.
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about the special guest before I say his name. He's special to me in 3 ways.
Ooh, did you think of this before you got
did.
here?
I did on my drive back from vacation yesterday. I
Aw.
thought about my special guest. Number 1, former member of the Bipsy 100 racing team.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Yes.
It's got to have a NASCAR reference.
Number 2.
Mini NASCAR. Well, you're wearing a NASCAR shirt today,
I
too.
did.
Rubbin's Racing Boys.
Isn't that right?
Yes.
Don't say his name yet.
Okay.
Number 2, long-term life group member with me.
I like.
But most importantly,
We both, Scott, for the record, we both gave it a. Okay.
but by far most importantly, he and I have ridden by ourselves to and from Juarez, Mexico.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Many
co-drivers together.
Well, that's a lot of talk time.
A lot of talk time.
I mean, when you go down there-
28 hours
Good
of
night.
talking, and we never had a quiet moment.
Without further ado,
I've been there.
Without further ado, let's welcome Ryan Sther.
Yeah.
Yes.
So everybody, Ryan said, hello.
Hello. Hello. Nice
Hello.
to see you.
Ryan, are you
Yes.
nervous a little?
I'm not used to talking into one of these.
I reckon it is a little racking.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Did y'all do
be
that
all right.
driving
Oh,
to
yeah.
Warren?
No,
Of course.
He's a big fan of the
He is.
Sling Blade?
Sling Blade.
Oh.
Couldn't think of the movie.
Yes.
Reckon you are.
I'm a big Billy Bob Thornton fan.
Yes.
I like him.
He's, yeah.
Let me
He's
just
fun.
tell you about Ryan. If you ever need to drive a long distance,
You want him in the car.
you want him in the car. Number 1, he drives good.
Yeah,
that's
that's
always
very
helpful
important.
if you're a passenger.
Because there's a lot of debate on whether Scott Odom drives good.
He is, I can affirm that he is a terrible driver. Wow. He
There's
does-
been a lot of people say it, Scott. No, I've ridden with you, but there's a rumor.
I love you,
There's a rumor out there.
but
You do keep it between the ditches, but
That's the goal.
you do leave a lot to be desired.
I'm gonna blow my trachea out even harder than this one. I can
Now,
tell. I'm laughing already.
Scott, before we get
He-
any,
he's
didn't
have
you
looked-
just recently back into something like less than a week ago?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. I think
Look,
there's
that's
still
my
evidence.
first accident in like 12
No,
years,
no,
but then I had
no.
2 back to back.
You did something to Biggin recently.
What did I do to Biggin?
Remember you hit the guardrail, the step rail.
Oh, yeah, I did do that.
So let's okay.
So let's don't go through that.
Let's
anyway,
don't get
but
into
the
that.
second thing, he drives well, which helped. As a passenger, I appreciate that. But never short on conversation.
He's got a lot to
That's
talk
true.
about.
He's had
he's
a lot of
very quiet
experience
right
in
now.
life. He has a lot of funny stories.
So
He's a
here's
good listener.
Now here's the reason he's here though.
Yes.
We're cutting right to the chase. Because go ahead, Scott. Are you prepared?
COVID.
I was getting prepared.
All right. Are you ready? Because this
I
is
am
really the
ready.
reason Ryan is here. Go ahead, Scott. Let's give it because it is.
COVID-19 update with a COVID survivor.
yes.
I dig it.
I like
do.
I like COVID survivor.
COVID survivor.
Oh. So Ryan, there's still a lot of talk out here. When we started doing this podcast, COVID was just starting.
Oh, yeah.
Because our first episodes were pretty much COVID related.
Yes, everything was COVID.
So we thought we'd be over and done with that by now.
Wrong.
No.
And we're in July, and we're actually recording this on a Saturday because we had Carl's wife Susan was really upset with. We have one listener.
We have one.
There's one.
Well, no, there's 2 because you're leaving out Mark Perkins.
Yeah, Carl's wife Susan. That's her. She really likes going by Carl's wife. We've thrown her name out there.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe she don't like going by it, but that's what she's
Too
known
late.
by. She's like, "Where's the podcast this week, guys?" So we we were waiting on a special guest because I asked you, and you said, "Man, it has to be Saturday because you work for a living." Work
That's true.
with Putman. That's right, Putman in the
Putman.
restoration, son.
Shout out.
Yeah, come on. There's a shout out for you.
You got
Love you,
you got
Put.
fire. You got storm.
Yep,
water.
fire, storm, water,
It's Putman
COVID,
Restoration.
COVID fogging.
Hey, he
and
treated
mold.
our own
Don't forget the
office.
mold.
mold.
That's right.
He covers all that.
We do it all.
Treated our own office this week.
Yes.
Poop. We clean up your poop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey,
Sewage.
matter of fact, I
may
just
need
saw
that.
You see
Putts.
the little
Yeah, they
little
got
poop
a
emojis.
poop emoji squeegee as a promotional item because they clean up poop.
We do it. We do it well.
Yeah. We'll get into that in another
I want to. Because I'm curious.
New location in Monroe.
Hold on. I have one question.
Okay.
And this is the only question I have about it. What is the worst thing you have seen?
Well, well, you can always like cut it out if it's not, but we cleaned up a house with lots of poop and needles and paraphernalia. A lot of parties going on here. Ooh. And the FBI had just paid a little visit, I guess, a few nights before. So, but yeah, if you need to remove that, it was.
I admire y'all. I'm thankful.
Just picture me with full respirator and a snow shovel inside of a house. Poop.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
See, because that's what happens. Putt tells me all the time, it's like, that's a tough job.
Yeah.
And now, with COVID, a whole nother thing.
Right.
Because you got, what's the word? Infection and, what do they call Category 3.
Yeah.
It's Cat 3 is what they call it.
Cat 3.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a Category 3 incident, and that means sewer is in the house.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's bad. I mean, it's like mold can come very quickly.
What's a Category 1?
It's just like a pipe burst.
Okay.
Like a freshwater.
Is 3 the top level?
As far as I know, but I
think
still have
that's
lots to
right. Yeah,
learn.
I don't know
I'm pretty sure. I don't know what's worse than poop.
I don't think there is anything.
Throw up, maybe?
No.
No, when you have raw sewage in your house, that's bad as it gets. And sometimes that's your septic, or sometimes that's your sewage.
I think I'd call that a Category 5.
Yeah.
Or at least
I don't know.
4.
Cat 5, yeah.
Really, it should be called a Cat 2.
That's
From a cat owner, that's weak.
Yeah, that's all right. Anyway, we're getting back to Ryan because we started this podcast talking about code and all that kind of stuff. But Scott said it, you are a survivor because everybody thinks it's a joke, that it's still not there. Ryan also works with the church in various ways. He's done children's ministry. He is a servant. You have been working and serving, and really anything we've needed you've done it. So when I think about all that, people that and they get it, it gets real because it's somebody that's close enough to you. And you and your wife got it, and you were pretty sick.
I was.
So go back through how long ago you got it and what the story was, because for all the conspiracy theorists that think it's not real, we're trying to help them out a little bit today on this podcast.
Absolutely. So mine started Memorial Day, which was 25th?
End of May.
End of May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I worked that day. I was on call and worked 2 jobs and ended up working till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And the kid I work with, and again, it's my best guess of how I got it.
Yeah.
Because I worked in close proximity with him, and long hours and very tired and probably susceptible. Who knows? But that night when I went home, at 2 or 3, I had a dry cough.
That's what I've heard.
Very dry cough, and it was sporadic. And it was kind of more annoying, and I really dismissed it as just being tired. But it was, thinking back, it was unusual because, thankfully non-smoker, but it was a weird, deep, like bronchial dry cough. and
at this point, everybody was
Married to a
thinking,
nurse, obviously.
yeah, but at this point, people are thinking that it's.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it was going, but we didn't
seasonal
have a lot in our area at that point.
Right. So the next day, I go to work. I work all day, but I kind of felt bad. But I still worked. Mid-afternoon, we got done with the job, and I went back to the office, and I said, man, I usually work till 5 or 6 or later if necessary, and I was like, I think I need to go home. I don't feel that well. And again, when I don't feel well, my first instinct isn't to get the old thermometer out and take my temperature, but with everything going on, I did, and I had like 101, and I was like, uh-oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
And of course, my immediate first concern, if I did have it, was a guy in the office has a pretty brand new baby, and I was around him in the office for a minute, so I immediately notified them, and the next morning I went and got tested. Now, not being a healthcare worker,
Took a while.
It took 2 days.
Wow.
But so I felt bad that was Wednesday. Thursday morning was when I woke up, and my wife, she was pushing the water and the Gatorade, so I was kind of nursing a orange Gatorade and a water, watching something on Netflix to try
Kill the time.
Kill the time, and my body aches and the fever were very strong, and I was miserable, and I kind of had a moment where I was switching back and forth between my water and the Gatorade, and I'm like, they both taste the same.
That's never good.
And
That is
so I
never
kind of
good.
closed my eyes and did it again with both, and I'm like, oh, geez.
You said I got it.
I got it.
And you didn't need a test. I mean, the
I didn't
test
need a
had
test.
To, yeah,
it was the next day on Friday morning where they called and said, your test is positive, and I said, I know.
I figured that out yesterday.
Figured it out.
I know. Yeah.
And you felt, how long were you down?
I had fever for 10 straight days starting on that Tuesday. Wow. And that was a low grade fever with Tylenol in my system. So I was somewhere between 100 and 101 with Tylenol in my system. So I probably would have been maybe, I don't know, 102,
probably,
103,
yeah. Wow. See, and that's where Ray Rainey is right now. Another one of our staff members. First staff member to actually officially get the old COVIDs.
And that's why I went and got tested.
And John
today.
just got back. The reason we're starting a little late on the recording is, John, everybody in this room has been tested for COVID except for me.
That is true.
So far. And only one has been positive. That would be Ryan, because you were negative, John, and
Right.
Scott's negative. But when I'm going through that, I'm thinking, we were talking earlier in the office, because you came in and through putt sprayed our office down to try to kill the COVID, the Ray COVID, the Yoda COVID. Mm-hmm. We call him Yoda. So it was like, and we started talking about it. I was like, man, we got to tell people, because we were, even then, people were, oh, it's just an exaggeration. They're blowing it out of proportion. Y'all don't need to be worried about it. But, dude, it was rough.
Oh, absolutely. And, I had friends that it's not real, scandemic.
I hadn't heard that one.
And I'm like, well, I got some blood work. I'll show you. And if you're around my house.
And you were quarantined for how long? Or down? You didn't work? You couldn't do anything?
No, it was almost 3 weeks. And I had symptoms. My smell is still not right. 2 months later? I still don't have my full smell back.
that can be a good thing in your job.
Yeah, really.
Exactly. The other day I was helping Putt unload some stuff out of his truck, and he's like, what is that smell? And I'm assuming it was coming from the dumpster we were standing next to. And I walked around it like, I got nothing. I couldn't smell anything.
Wow.
So, yeah, there is some blessings in that.
Yeah.
And other things you run across that.
It's pretty wild, though, to think about. Because, and then Celeste, his wife, she got it. Now,
so-
she get it from you think?
Oh, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The next that Friday that I got my test results back and was positive, she went in and got tested, and of course hers I think she learned that night because
She did a quick one.
Yeah, she did a quick one, and she was positive. Now she only had 1 day of very low grade fever, and she had, I would call it more like allergies for maybe 4 or 5 days, but I mean.
But then she quarantined too.
Yeah,
then.
she had to, being in healthcare. Yeah.
That's what's so crazy.
It is. It's so weird.
Like somebody can be, because you were really sick.
I was.
Like I talked to Ray yesterday. He was really bad yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He said, man, I am still. Because one day he seemed like he was doing good. So I called him yesterday. Hey, man, did me bring you anything? He goes, man, I am struggling today. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I feel horrible. I couldn't sleep last night.
Yeah.
I had chills. I'm just, he's a little emotional about it, And I'm like,
He
right.
tends to be that way.
Yeah, but I get it. He's like,
Yeah.
And then he told me that another relative of his mom has it, obviously in the nursing home.
She's on hospice now.
Yeah, probably not going to do very well. That's why they were kind of worried and obviously stressed out about that. And then, I think he said Cole may have it. So, I mean, it's like, it just seems like now it's more prevalent in this area than it was back when you got it.
Oh, sure. Back then, we only knew one person that had it. And, for the first 2 months that it was around, we only heard of one person. And now I know a lot of people.
Well, I just left Shumpert Quick Care, and I was a little late because they were busy. And it was all people getting tested for COVID. There was nobody in there for any other reason that I could see.
Yeah.
in the waiting area. And what's cool about Shumpert, and I heard this week, that there's a lot of criticism on how long it's taken tests to come back. Well, the Shumpert Quick Care has the quick test. Apparently, there's different versions of the test. And 25% of the test in the U.S. are the 15-minute test.
Oh, wow.
Another 25% is something different. And then the other 50% is that one that's taken 3 days, 4 days. So
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they had the quick one. And the lady said they're just stacking them up. She said, and she wouldn't give me any answers on how many. I said, how many are positive? She says, I can't comment on that. Because I asked the doctor
Yeah.
when she came in, and she said, I can't really comment on that. She said, we're just stacked up testing people. And most people are like me, are having to get tested because they were exposed to somebody that was positive, and either a family member or a workplace is saying you have to go get tested to see if you need to be quarantined, because you can be asymptomatic and
Yeah.
still carry it.
Right.
So that's kind of why I went, because I was with Ray the night before he came down sick.
And that's what's interesting too. So like Daniel Nelson, who's Simple Church drummer, musician, player, his kid got it. So Ian was over there. My son was hanging out with him. So we had to go get him tested because we thought, well, so Ian was negative, Daniel was negative, Leanne was negative, Ty was negative, and all of them hung out with him without knowing he was sick. And then once they found out, none of them got sick.
Yeah.
So it's like you'd think for sure out of 5 people or whatever that one of them being but they didn't, you know. So no, again, who knows, you know, but nobody has any symptoms. That's the other thing, is nobody had any symptoms. It was just like because we were close to them to try to eliminate the fact that it could be.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, and all of that makes managing it complicated, because
It's an understatement.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because this goes back to, I love scandemic.
Scandemic.
That's awesome, because until it affects you personally, there's a natural tendency to under-respond to it.
Sure.
And that even makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And until Ray, I mean, you were really the first person we really knew, Ryan, that came down with it. And that was like, ooh,
Close in town.
in town.
Yeah.
Right. We heard stories and
Yeah.
heard the hospitals were full and had, COVID rooms and all this stuff. And then when Ray was the first one on our staff that was in our environment to come down with it, it kind of ratchets up the...
We started wearing masks.
Yeah.
Everybody was like,
So did Trump this week. I
yeah, I
heard.
know, but it's funny though. But everybody was like, we were just casual. It's like, I
Right.
mean, hey, I hear you, and everybody's
Yeah.
arguing whether you should or you shouldn't. But the reason that it got real for us, and this is just the way it is. So if you're out there and you're going, I'm not going to wear a mask, that's stupid, I'm not going to do it. I shouldn't have to. I think there were people in our office that felt the same way.
Mm-hmm.
When a coworker got it, though, it meant that they would then lose work for 2 weeks.
That's right.
Right.
So if you have a mask on and you're not around them for more than 15 minutes,
That's correct.
even, then you're not quarantined. So the problem was, if you don't have a mask and you're around them, then you do get quarantined.
All bets are off.
So I was just telling them, I was like, to keep working and to continue to do what it is that you want to do, is like, man, that's the least I can do is put a mask on.
Right.
It's like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like, we didn't really implement that, or we weren't really strong on it. And right at the same time, the governor came out and said it was mandated.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
we kind of happened to fall right at that time, because we weren't doing it until it was mandated the way we should have.
Right.
Now, again, if we were doing events, we did,
Yep.
passing out something or whatever. But I'm talking about just walking around the office. It was like, we're good, But now it's like,
Well, and I just heard driving back yesterday that effective Monday, Walmart nationwide will require one to enter the store.
And Sam's.
And Sam's, yeah. And then Best Buy, I believe, has jumped on board now. So I think you're going to see most retailers, if they haven't already, it will no longer just be, individual choice. I think it's going to be mandated.
well,
yeah.
when you hear Ryan how sick he is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think mine is,
And Ray.
Right. Right.
I think I'd rather have a mask on. Now, you have antibodies, so you're good for how long?
I got one more month at least.
Yeah. Isn't that strange that they kind of know that you can catch it again now?
Well,
isn't that kind of they're
that's-
studying that?
They are, and I still don't think they know for sure. but
Right.
They're leaning toward that it's not like a chicken pox, but I've read a couple articles that suggest that your antibodies may only last a couple of months.
The reason I bring that up is when it first started, back when we were first doing podcasts, there were people that were trying to get it on purpose.
That was 2 weeks ago. They were having college parties. Where they were sharing.
Yeah, that guy
So
my
they could
age
get
died.
hired. They wanted
Yeah.
to get hired because they were going to be immune.
Yeah, you're not immune.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have a badge to wear that says you're immune and
That
all
leads
that.
to another new term that
Oh,
I've heard.
please tell me.
COVIDiot.
Yes.
Oh, Ron, that's good.
A COVIDiot.
Now you know why you want to ride with him to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got COVIDiot.
My wife coined another one,
Scandemic.
but I probably won't
Scandemic.
share that one.
Yeah. Celeste had one that's not appropriate.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Well, because Celeste was pretty adamant on the old socials because people were going, "Oh, it ain't no big deal." I'm like, talk to my husband.
Right.
And don't hug me and give me some space because I did a funeral, Mr. Phipps' funeral. Was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. And it was the first one that I have done that everybody wore their mask. I had done a funeral a couple of weeks before that, and it looked like nothing was going on.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is dicey, man. You know, because people are coming in and hugging and doing. And I'm like going, look, I understand, but it just seems like if you're going to use some common sense,
Yep.
that if you want to get back to football or normal life, a temporary season of wearing a mask to help expedite getting back to normal would make more sense than going, I ain't going to do it. It doesn't matter, you know.
It's people like me that are the problem, though. It really is because my wife, I drive her crazy. I do wear a mask now, but I was a late adopter, which is my general mode anyway. But I'm one of those rule followers that only follows rules that I think make sense. So I think for society, we really, and I can only speak for myself, but the reason why I wear one now is I didn't really think it was, not that the virus wasn't real, don't get me wrong. I didn't think the risk was that high. I thought it was pretty rare that you would get it. So I was like,
Ray getting it kind of changed
it
your
did.
tune.
Well, starting with Ryan,
Right.
honestly, it
But
started,
you didn't change when Ryan got
not
it.
really.
No, because
Not
I was
really.
I was watching you.
Two
You
things.
didn't.
I
mean, no, not really. No,
And
you
I haven't
did.
been in the office lately, so
Yeah.
I'm good on that.
There's really two things. that
Exactly.
change.
Well, I'm saying like when you got it, all of us were like, "Man, that sucks for him," you know, and like, "Man, that's tough."
Yeah.
And that's
Hate it for you, buddy.
But you were going, "Oh, he's out there," because you weren't working at the office at that time, so you're
Right.
like, "Man, he's out." It still wasn't close enough. Now you
Yeah.
were close, but it wasn't close enough. But when somebody in our office got
Right.
it, then it was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
Yeah, and the CDC says if you wear your mask, you reduce your risk by 70%.
Yeah.
Not guaranteed, but 70, I'll take it.
Yeah,
I made
now-
70s through high school and took it.
Now,
That's at least a C.
I passed.
now here's part of the problem, though, and I'm not making excuses for myself.
Yeah,
but this
come
is
on.
what you had so much confusion on whether it mattered or not.
And it still is. But here's what I would tell them.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what's funny, though, because it is. There's different reports,
Yep.
and one guy says this. But I don't know how it could hurt.
It can't hurt.
Well, if somebody's going to sneeze right in your personal space, would you rather have a mask or not? I always think about that.
Yeah, sure. That's
You
what
don't-
I'm saying. It's like,
I mean,
it can't hurt.
No.
Right.
I mean, it's just and I'm not saying it gives you immunity. It's just a matter of going, it's just a level of protection.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
this is what's interesting. We just came back from Mississippi yesterday on vacation, and they had just, I think starting Monday, their masks are going to be required in that state. They were a late adopter.
Well, I heard I was on the radio, and the Mississippi governor hadn't decided that, but
Yeah.
maybe
I
he
think they
has now.
finally did. I think it's a female governor, if I'm not mistaken.
Male governor,
Maybe it was the mayor of where we were.
probably so.
Maybe it was unique to Harrison County.
Yeah, because I don't think the Mississippi. He's one of the late. He's speaking of a late adopter. He was just on the radio before I came in, and he said, "No, we're not requiring it."
So maybe it was the county.
Yeah, maybe so.
Anyway, whoever it was going to make that decision. But what was interesting was that when you were around in that environment, it was just like here before things got serious. It was 50-50. Half the people had them on.
Oh yeah,
Now, every restaurant was requiring them to walk in, but even then, they were letting them in without them. They weren't making a big enough
Right.
issue of it. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting that they're kind of behind Louisiana on that.
In most things.
Thank God. That's why we're 49th.
I'm
They're 50.
finna say
exactly.
we're not. If 49 and 50 is probably
Yeah.
close.
That's true.
So Ryan, what would you say to the people that are still going, this is stupid and I think it's ridiculous and
Well,
whatever?
and you know the thing that which I think is why we have the late adopters and people, it's you know the survival rate is very good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is lately.
Getting better.
The last was like 98, 99. I mean, And it's not necessarily about it whether you're healthy enough you think you can survive it. It's passing it on to that elderly, immune suppressed person that is not going to be able to survive it.
Right.
Great point.
I fogged a house yesterday that the lady, her mother had just came down with it and is now on a vent in ICU. It's those people who are more susceptible is why, and even if it, only helped a little bit, why not? It's something small, and it is different, and I have a hard time breathing behind my mask and respirator when
sure.
But and if you do have COVID, I do have a warning: don't eat bananas.
Really?
With no taste or smell,
Uh-huh.
a banana will taste what I would only describe as what a wet diaper would taste like.
Oh.
He said
The
because you
texture.
can't smell it
It's
Can't
just the
smell it.
texture.
and you can't taste it.
Oh.
It's awful.
I just got ill feeling.
Yeah, don't do it.
Oh.
Don't do it.
Now,
My
why
wife
did-
has a picture of my face eating one, and I had to spit it out
Because you
It's
need
that
the
bad.
potassium, she thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's better ways.
There's gummies. You can
Yeah.
use gummies.
Get a gummy.
Yes. Even if you can't taste it, a gummy probably better texture than a.
Now, Ryan, would
banana.
Celeste agree with this, that what I'm hearing is that the virus is getting more contagious but less lethal? Have you heard that?
I
That
have
it's
not.
morphing? Like I hear these people say that it mutates every 2 weeks.
No, I have not heard that. I've heard a little bit about the mutations, which would support why somebody can get it again because
Right.
a little different. But I don't know any facts on that
I got you.
enough to
We don't usually have to have facts to talk about.
We're not really.
Exactly.
Facts are overrated
Fact-
on this
or-
podcast.
Yeah. So I don't know. But
Well, I can tell you that one of our COVID experts, it needs prayer because Dr. Keith, we had a guy in that's the LSU representative for the research wing of the hospital. He's in ICU right now.
Is he?
Yep. And he had it. No, he tested positive.
Early on.
Yep. No antibodies, even after he tested positive.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard that
And
one.
that's what happened. And now he is back in, and they're not sure, to be clear. They think it is complications due to COVID that put him back in there. Now, he's not secondary. He's not infected again.
Okay.
But they think that whatever's going on is having adverse effects long term. You've not had any adverse effects to this point other than
My
still
My smell is not all the way back, and it took the fatigue is severe, at least in my case.
I have that all the time. Though.
And it exactly.
That's
That's a
called
year-round
yeah, that's
issue.
called fat.
You right?
I'm right there with you.
It took a long time, but
Did you lose any weight on COVID? We're wanting to know if
lost-
that's a diet plan.
It is. I lost 8 pounds,
Hey.
but I gained it back so quick because when your taste comes back,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
better just get
You
out.
wanna eat.
If there's something in the way, you better get out the way.
Yeah, well, I'm just curious.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
That's what's so tough,
Because
though.
the first I'd say 4 or 5 days, I ate almost little, only just fluids.
You just didn't feel good.
No,
You
just
must have been
feels-
sick, 'cause I've seen you eat.
Exactly. If I'm not eating,
Something's wrong.
It means Ray
Yeah.
Rainey's going to come back. Literally,
He's already small.
he's going to be little then.
Yeah.
What's weird though is when your hunger starts to come back, my smell and my taste hadn't come back. So you're just eating like pizza that salt. And then I don't know, I've heard for the most part, other people, salt is the only taste that you can taste.
He said you were eating the meat lovers. You said it was like eating but a salty bread.
Salty bread. Well, you could only taste the salt from the meat and the cheese. So it was like you could taste the bread texture. So it was
That-
like
that's-
salty bread.
I'm like,
Weird,
it
dude.
is
So it
weird.
was, you talk about a wah, wah, wah. So I would just eat it anyway because I was hungry.
All right, so
What are
let's
you
go
gonna
into another section of COVID. All right, because I sat in the old Bossier Parish school meeting.
Oh, boy.
do? Oh,
So you have kids.
yeah.
All right. So you're in Shreveport, though.
Right.
Right. So they're taking a couple of weeks, to.
Pushed it back.
They pushed
to
it
the
back a couple
24th.
weeks.
Every
24.
parish around us has, except
Yeah,
for
I
Bossier.
think Bossier didn't.
Yeah.
But are you nervous or not nervous? What is your take? Just being someone who's had it, and then you look at your kids. Do you go, I like them pushing it back and thinking through that a little bit, or you go, I don't. It doesn't really bug you either way.
I know just, having faith that they have exhausted their, research and
Yeah.
trying to do what's best for the kids. I kind of like what they're doing. You do have the option, I know in Caddo at least, of doing 100% virtual.
Yeah.
So if you're a parent that just maybe your kid has underlying conditions
Yep.
that that
I think
might
it's the
give
same
them
in
some problem.
Bossier.
Is it?
I think.
With my daughter, let's see, with her last name, she would be on, if she chose the hybrid version instead of the 100% virtual, she would go on Tuesdays and Thursdays and do virtual Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah, we got, I think the way I understood it in Bossier is there's going to be what they call the LABe schedule. So it'll be go to class on Monday, video Tuesday. But the video, which I understood and I was confused by, is there's not a teacher that they see, really, that they record these videos and they have to watch them. There's no interaction with the teacher, from what I understood in the meeting. And then they come back Wednesday and go, did you catch it? And then they do it again, video Thursday, and then Friday alternates every other week. So I don't know what that meant when they say alternate.
So I guess A goes one week and B the next.
Right. Yeah. So I was like, wow. And I was just sitting there thinking about all of the complications, and everybody's trying to figure out work and sports, and I mean, because they had to update the insurance policy. This was one of the things that I'm sitting in the school. We fed the school board in Bossier just to thank them for working on everything and trying to encourage them, because that's a lot of pressure and a lot of difficulty to work through it. So we sat through the meeting, which I've never sat through a school board meeting in my life. But this one was interesting because they were even going over the law, insurance covering lawsuits. Because they had to change their plans and they had to update and they had to spend more, and so the premiums went up, but at the same time they went down because there's no school activities. So you're insuring school activities, but there are none.
Right.
Yeah.
But the premiums went up, so they said it's almost a wash, but they said still it's just a complicated, crazy time.
Now, didn't I hear officially that sports are off for the fall for the schools?
Until you get to phase 4, there's no football.
Right. That's what I'd heard.
And I don't know about the others, because I heard a conflicting report last night on that from somebody. They're like, well, at least we can play soccer. I said, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So,
Teresa had heard that the only thing that was allowed, which is strange, and she is my source, so that's as far as I'm going to go.
Yeah.
But she had heard that they could scrimmage in volleyball, but that's it.
Why?
Maybe it's with themselves.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Ryan just chuckled.
Scrimmage with themselves.
I'm serious. I think they split.
I mean, you going out there playing volleyball
I don't
by
know.
yourself?
I
Like,
just
set.
I just told you I have no more
Spike.
information than that.
Or if they glove up with like those, the little wash tub.
But they touch their face and
Yeah.
they're sweating, and because
I saw kids working out yesterday for school, and they wasn't doing anything.
like protective stuff.
I'm not
you
going
mean?
to tell you where I saw them, but
Don't cite your source.
No, I'm just saying that I was thinking,
That's
man,
not good.
That's probably a little dicey. But
Right.
I guess they're thinking, like you're saying, they're young enough. Hey, the risk is low enough and whatever.
Sure.
And I guess the parents will say, just go on. And,
But the problem is where they go home to.
or where they
Yeah.
go to eat, or where they go to the
Exactly.
gas station, or
And
where they go to.
If they can't make adults wear all these masks, what do you think the kids are going
Oh
to do?
yeah.
Well, they went through that. That was one of the things that. Now, this is just interesting. I think they had to order. They went through PPP orders that they did it for Bossier Parish, and I mean, the Homeland Security. I always put "the" in front of everything. The Homeland Security. They actually helped supply Bossier Parish, I think, and they were going through those complications and how much they had to have, and every child will be, given so many masks and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking, it's really hard to believe this is happening.
I know.
True.
Like, when you really pull back and you're in a meeting hearing them say all this, you're going. But when you go, well, what if your child is the Ryan? Now, what I have not heard, and I'm sure it was written in those documents, is if your child becomes the Ryan who gets it and is sick, somebody kind of tried to ask in the meeting, and it was vague. And then they tried to go to the doctor. There was a doctor on a Skype call or something. We never heard anything she said. It just glitched out. And then they came back, and she said, "Are y'all good with that?" And everybody's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What? Wait a second."
Like, what's the protocol for them?
Yeah,
to
because
stay
it was
home
going
or-
back to they're in pods. Like, I guess they're like little whales. Isn't a whale in a pod?
It is. Yeah. So
So they were like,
it's
if a
Tide now, you get a Tide
Yeah.
Pod.
Tide Pods.
so you can
They
be
eat those.
yeah.
If they get COVID,
Yeah,
they
they
eat
eat
a Tide
them.
Pod.
Yeah, they eat 'em. So they were saying that I guess if that happens, then that class is quarantined, and then
Yeah.
but then some of them are saying, but some of them rotate, and I'm just like,
That's one of the biggest. Like I was talking to Teresa about that driving back, and they at Bossier Elementary where she works, they're going to have a room, an isolation room, that if a kid shows any symptoms, they're going to actually send that kid to that room until somebody can come get them. But then what's not clear is, okay, so what do you do with the rest of the kids that are in the same environment?
yeah, that's what I think they were.
And they're wrestling through how, they're supposed to be so many feet apart. They're supposed to be wearing a mask at a certain age. And
Teachers
up.
going to need a lot of prayer and a
Yes.
lot of
We need
support.
emergency, salary increase for every
Yes.
teacher.
I can tell you, because one of the things that it kind of hit me listening to them in there talking through all this is in any situation, the administration or the upper management, they're making decisions that are the best that they can make. And they go, this is what we think we can do. And y'all know, I've been on both ends of the upper and the lower management. My brother was upper management when I was lower at one church environment. And that didn't go well. I cussed him a lot.
We rolled out some great stuff
Yeah.
for you lower folks.
Yeah. Closed-toe shoes, hosiery. That was your administration.
Hey, I bought that personnel manual. I didn't read
If
it.
you put it out, you should read it before you put it out.
I understand. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, and I'm like, John, you put it out there, and the next guys implement. Y'all know the rules. Closed-toed shoes and hosiery for. I'm like, what? Who is this man?
Was it from the 50s?
That was that guy. That's
I got
John.
a good deal on it.
So
Wow.
So when this was coming out, I could hear them do it, and then all I could hear in my mind are all of the teachers. Because one of the things that they said, now think about this. Okay, so you're a teacher making not a lot of money. Okay, and you go in now, and they were saying that they're going to eat in their room. The teacher has to clean their room.
Oh, dear.
They have to teach in their room, and then they have to video lessons on their other days. And I'm thinking, if you've ever taught a third or fourth grader, I've had a few. I mean, I haven't taught them, but I've raised a few. They spill milk, corn's on the floor. Imagine them eating in their room and them trying to figure that. And then COVID may be a positive when you lose your smell. Can you imagine the smell of that room?
Oh my God.
All of them eating in there. Them little rugrats are in there, and then you're trying to now throw your trash away because the janitors. There's no way they can keep up with that.
Right.
So they said we're gonna have a micro cloth. This is one of the direct comments. They're gonna have a micro cloth,
Microfiber?
get microfiber and some spray in there to help them, or whatever. I bet every teacher went, "Thank you."
What about the pink sawdust when they throw up?
Oh, I don't.
you have
Yeah,
that
that's.
too?
Oh, yeah.
That's
You better
good stuff,
You
man.
better have
See,
that.
now I wish I didn't have a sense of smell.
Yeah. Those kids need to be isolated, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But think about how complicated that's going to be.
Just cancel the school year.
They're not going to do that because they also do show statistics that it is better for them to. Obviously, kids learn better face to face than they do
Sure.
virtually. But then there's also some virtual challenges because they were going back to how do they get it and kids in their, internet. And if there's nobody home, so like when you go middle school or I think elementary stays all the way through. I mean, they're every day, but like middle school.
I think that's right.
Yeah, middle school though is not. It's the alternating. You imagine a sixth grader.
Hey, I knew
and your
you-
mom and daddy are working, and you go, now get that work done. I said they'll use that little hotspot to play every video game.
Oh.
I know it's gonna be blocked. They say.
Yeah.
Can you just? Oh my gosh! I thought,
It's a
man.
mess.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier that if this would have happened when I was growing up,
Oh, we'd
I'd
have-
have failed at least 2 grades.
I would have been excited, number one, as a student, just because, you get to be home a lot more. But it wouldn't be because I'd be studying.
We didn't have parents at
Snacks.
home though.
No, we didn't. We'd have been told. We'd
They
been
both
riding our
worked.
bikes and
Yeah.
My
playing in
parents
the
weren't home.
woods. And yeah.
But I mean, our generation, we're 80s, 70s, so they weren't home. I mean, we were working.
Yep.
But it's surreal, and it's one of the biggest things that they said. So if you're looking for a way to help, and this, I'm not joking. I mean, this is a stretch for it. We're talking about stretching, like putting a mask.
I know
on.
what you're about to say.
People are saying like, wear a mask. So One positive for wearing a mask is maybe it'll go away, because the alternative is they need substitute teachers.
Oh dear.
So what you ought to do is come up with a little campaign.
Don't wear a mask.
Wear your mask or substitute.
I've got it. If you get caught not wearing
You
a
have
mask,
to substitute.
mandatory substitute.
Yeah.
Man.
That's your ticket.
But
That's
they were
your-
saying that how many of these
scoop
teachers?
my poop.
Yeah, they have to come work for you for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how many teachers are going to be sick, or they have a relative, or they don't want to risk it?
Or if they get COVID, yeah.
I mean, that's why. And they were going, subs are going to be a challenge, because they don't have enough. They didn't have enough subs last year without COVID.
I have firsthand experience with this because my wife is a secretary to school, and they have a system now where they sign up to sub. Used to, the school had to call and find them. Wish I could remember the name of the system. But anyway, so they have to log in, and there's like anxiety every morning waiting for people to take those spots. She's logged in at the house before she leaves. I think, oh gosh, the name almost came to me, but she's going, please take that spot. Please take that spot. And they're just hoping somebody takes the spot.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
Just imagine how it's going to be now.
Well, a little inside information. When I was a student pastor back in the 90s, I figured I didn't want to work so much, so I said, what I'm going to do is, and I wanted to connect with students, so I became a substitute teacher. I went and got you have to have background check, you get this card and all this kind of stuff. I did it twice. The first time, it was just a little naive, and I thought it can't be that bad. But the problem is usually, you remember when a substitute there, they don't give you any work to do.
We used to love it as a student.
Yeah, so then we're just sitting there going, I remember sitting there, this was pre-COVID, obviously, it's the 90s, so I'm sitting here going, we got anything to do? I'm like, not really, man. So for that 7 in the morning until 2 or 3 in the afternoon for $40, man, stop.
And that was in the 90s.
That's what I told them the other night at the board meeting. I was like, so what's that price up to? They said, it ain't much different.
Oh.
I don't know I don't know what it is. What's the sub make now?
I
in
don't
motion
know.
repair?
I have no
Now
idea.
you can just.
I'll look that up while y'all talk.
I know that system's called ASOP. I don't know why, but that's what they sign up on.
Like the fable.
Yeah.
'Cause
it's a
I
fable.
guess it's a fable that's going to get filled that day.
I don't know, man.
Oh.
Anyway, any other deep questions for Ryan while we
So,
have him?
Ron, like, my question for you would be, like, with Putman Restoration, you came into our office. As we mentioned, Ray Rainey was tested positive, and he had been in the office, so you came in. Tell us a little bit about what that treatment looks like, so the listener knows what you do to a building when you go in post-COVID.
As far as what we're spraying
Yeah,
with?
yeah.
Yeah, well, we have like the SDS, which is, safety data sheet that lists the chemical that we're using. And it's a botanical. It's,
Right.
it's not a harsh chemical.
Yeah.
There's no residue. And I looked on the website, so I do have a source. In just spray in the area, as long as it's wet for 1 minute, it'll kill COVID.
Wow.
And I think 3 minutes on any bacteria.
Gotcha.
But we always try to spray at least, for 5 minutes worth for it
Gotcha.
to dissipate over.
Yeah, and
that
you were
area.
pretty garbed up doing that job.
And that's the thing. When I first started doing it, I was a little hesitant because it was pre-COVID, but I feel way safer with the suit on than walking through the grocery store.
Oh, sure.
Because we're gloves, Tyvek suit,
and
full
you guys
face
are,
respirator.
and y'all have some locations you're doing regularly.
Absolutely. A lot of locations, plants with large employees,
Mm-hmm.
like out at the port. We've done large lumber mills,
Right.
oil field companies, some of your essential businesses, hospitals.
Yes.
The problem is you have to be out of there for 3 hours. So we do, I've fogged, one of the first ones I did was a plant out at the port at 1 a.m. in the morning because that was once their shift got off, they had a little window, didn't have a third shift. So
Gotcha.
we do it, 7 days a week. I've done it in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
Drove there to
Just
to do
passed
it.
through there yesterday.
I did a little bank branch there.
So I can say, I know for our team, I think I can say this pretty safely, and Scott, you can comment on this being on the team, that there's kind of a reassurance that comes when somebody's tested positive and then you guys come in and do your treatment. I think it lowers the anxiety level.
Absolutely.
Sure, absolutely. And
Do you
some
agree,
of it,
Scott?
Yes, my anxiety level was peaked that day.
That's a daily deal with
Yeah.
you, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, because that morning before he had said that he was positive, I was in his office.
Yeah.
Because I took over his location, so I grabbed the boxes, and then I see that on the text message. Literally, once I put and the boxes had, because there was a bunch of them, they'd been on my face, and I'm like, well, I'm a dead man.
The boxes were on your face? Did I
Well,
come in
yeah,
late?
because it's stacked up, so
Right
you're
in his
carrying them.
face.
Yeah.
It's like,
He
man,
wasn't carrying
Yeah.
them on his face.
I was like, that'd been interesting to see.
Yeah. So I was like,
Box head.
yeah.
Best I can tell, guys, it now this is, I don't know how accurate this is. $7 an hour is what it works out to be.
Let me see if my wife will answer. She
Substitute.
knows.
That's
About and you can get up 13K if you work every day.
Man.
But I mean that's just on the old interwebs, and I may be inaccurate, but
$7
$8.
an hour.
Yeah, I mean that's, and I'm figuring out if you're there 8 hours, it's probably about right. 40, 50 bucks. I bet it's about 50 or 60 bucks. It might have gone up to 70 now, so that probably wouldn't be accurate.
Let's see if she answers. She was on
Anyway, so
Textra.
going back to your other spray, and so the chemicals you use too are plant based.
Yes.
So did you know that?
Yeah,
John?
he mentioned botanical.
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 Made from plants.
Botanical.
Botanical.
yeah, sorry about that.
So that way it's safe for not only the
is.
people but the environment.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can pour this in the grass or whatever, But
We were just talking about how he looked when he came in. It was like Ghostbusters, man.
Oh yeah, we took a
Oh, yeah.
picture.
Yeah, we have a photo. We did a selfie with you.
Absolutely.
That's going to go in my collection, my COVID collection. I have a collection of pictures of weird signs. Like, this is an interesting one I saw the other day. Exact change only.
Oh, yeah.
There's
for the
a
national
coin shortage going on.
And I was baffled at that until I fogged a local bank the other day.
Give us some intel on that.
And I asked the guy, because whenever I first started going out after this, I would use my debit card so I didn't have to handle money exchange.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so there should be less changing hands. But he said it was because the U.S. Mint shut down.
It did.
Has been shut down. I don't know if it's back up, but so that's has
But
caused
what
the
happens
shortage.
to all the money that's already out there?
I guess they're all in our penny jars.
Jeez.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think you don't realize how much you're printing. Because how much do you come home and dump in a drawer somewhere?
I don't really use cash anymore.
Yeah.
There's
neither
a-
do I.
Yeah.
There's a lot that do. Mm-hmm. Obviously, obviously, when there's
really
a shortage.
Well, and plus two, and once again, I think the source on this was the History Channel.
Oh dear.
Oh,
But
Appreciate you citing
you.
that source.
yeah,
Thank
I
you,
do.
thank you.
If I remember correctly, like once change in particular or dollar bills get to a certain point where there's a certain amount of wear, they return that to be recycled.
That's true.
And I'm doing this for
And
some
we're not
reason.
sure why.
But
Don't
they
understand.
recycle it.
Yeah.
But I think too that recycling plant has been down as well, so the change isn't being recycled either.
Well, I'm gonna give you. Speaking of that, this is breaking news.
Oh, is this
is
COVID-19 update?
Yeah, but it goes along with those things, with what we're talking about.
Okay.
So a builder, local builder,
To
to remain anonymous, because
Okay.
I don't know if he'd want me to state it, that he's, knows this or not. To go along with this, he started a remodel job. Well, Ryan, you're a remodel expert.
That's all.
We won't even go into
Don't,
your.
don't do
It's
it.
too painful,
It's
man.
too painful.
It's too soon.
He flipped a house that we won't even
No,
go
the
into.
house flipped him.
Yeah, the house flipped
Yes.
you.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But anyway, so he started the remodel. I think it was around March.
Okay.
Okay. So they ordered the refrigerator for the remodel. You know when that refrigerator is going to be in? They think October to November.
Yeah, I heard.
And
that.
the
because
remodel
they're shut down?
They cannot get any of the stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when I was at Academy, going along those same lines, trying to buy charcoal because I buy a specific type of charcoal because I'm bougie like that.
Direct source from
Yeah,
Scott.
from the Academy manager because they haven't had any, and I said, "What's the deal?" She said they went from getting 2 trucks a week to they get 1 truck a month, and whatever on that truck is what they get. They don't even know what's on the truck because so many of the manufacturing plants of clothing and charcoal and everything, they're all shut down.
I'm going to give you more on that.
All right.
This is from Lisa McDaniel,
Okay.
who helps us at the Do Good store. That Christmas could be a little challenging this year as well because of the lack of inventory being shipped from China. You buy a lot from China.
Sure.
And so they were talking about that if you have certain things you want for your family or you had an idea, you might want to buy that now because there's a chance. One example was Christmas decorations. Christmas decorations. So it gets shipped.
This is getting serious. This is Christmas John you're talking about here.
And it gets manufactured. So at market, they did not say when they could deliver. That's never happened before. Ooh. So if you ordered, they're like, I don't know when that'll come in, but yeah, you can order it.
Wow.
Breaking news yet?
No response.
Yeah, she's taking a nap.
Probably.
A long vacation took her out.
Probably.
All right.
Well, I'm nervous about this Christmas decoration thing.
Yeah, we're going to pray for you.
Yeah, seriously, because this was the year I was going to buy the real good LED C9.
I can just tell you,
lights.
There's no such thing.
No, there are.
No, there's not.
Yes, there are.
No, there's
Sean
not.
Horton, I bought a trial set.
Yeah, but okay.
And they don't look green.
No, I'm not talking about look. The look is done. Okay, but I switched 3 years ago. They do not last like they say they will.
Now, this is the kind with the screw-in bulb?
Do not last. Now, I think quality has
Suffered. Now, this...
So I have C9.
discouraged. Now you're saying I can't get them.
No, now Sean may have a better source, but
I think he does.
But I bet
he's a firefighter. They have better sources.
Yeah, but I can tell you right now, the way China's going on, that's part of your problem right there.
Right.
May have COVID in that little bulb when you get it.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
We do wipe down specials as well.
Yeah, you can wipe down every Christmas light. That'll take a minute.
This just in.
Hold
on. She answered one question, but not the other one.
Oh,
she knows better than the call. She knows where you're at.
Oh, yeah, no. She said, no, I'm not even going to get into it.
I'm getting hungry.
I know. We're fixing to get out
Okay,
of here.
she's looking. So we are waiting for live data.
One thing it said on the internet was 13 to 14,000 a year, and then it said $7 an hour. So I'm going,
it's going to be sad.
Who's going to do that for a year?
Believe it or not, they have full-time subs.
So that's 13,000 is what it was.
Donna Fox, I think, used to be one.
Yeah.
13.
Christy Rhodes' mom did it for a year.
So would now you just show up and say, all right, kids, play on your phone. I'm going to be playing on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you say it with a mask on.
Watch your Netflix. That's right.
Right. I remember when we had subs in high school, especially, we thought it's the best ever because they literally, you did nothing.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember any sub from your days growing up?
No.
I remember one.
No.
Because he was a psychic. He would go through and
No,
tell
he
people-
would not.
He was, I mean,
Was he accurate?
yes.
Really?
Right,
that's
come
awesome.
on,
I
man.
swear. And I would have him for subs for other classes. And
So
of course,
but he knew you were going to be there.
Yeah. And I'd be like, do it. And I would tell everybody. And he was freaking people out.
That's awesome.
You know he had to look before y'all got there.
I mean,
He had to look at that class and go, all
he
right.
dug in all our files and knew our history. I mean,
It was
but he
tripping you
good.
out, though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
What year
I
was
remember,
this?
God, this would have been 80. I
Yeah.
was still in 87, 88.
Yeah, see.
Though I remember.
You
Because
have
and there's very few male substitute
Oh,
teachers.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
he stood out. But he was very entertaining nonetheless. So
Yeah,
might
I
have a
didn't-
Vegas
So if you're
show
going to
by
go,
now.
Ryan's advice, if you're going to go sub, like, learn to be a pretend psychic. Yeah.
You could be. Or I think the term is mentalist.
Oh,
Yes, he was a mentalist. And now he'd be like, I have a feeling you're attached to your phone and
But Ron,
you're staying inside mostly.
Wouldn't you say to broaden that? Because this is a real need out there. If you're gonna be a sub, have something unique about you that makes you memorable. So if you're not a mentalist, just do something weird. Like do something where you stand out.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have real time data here. I have a screenshot, guys.
I looked for her, so she did good. That's a teacher.
source. That's
Source.
direct source.
All right. Substitute teachers, because there's all kind of different substitutes for
But I'm
secretaries
talking about
and bus
just a teacher.
drivers.
We're talking about a teacher.
All right,
I'm
here
going to
we
go into buses
it's
in
a
a minute.
daily rate. Mm-hmm. All right, you ready for this?
But it must be that you can add that daily up to a yearly because they had some estimate.
I don't know
Good
why there's
night.
two. Oh, okay. With high school diploma, $75 a day.
See, it jumped up a little bit.
College graduate, $85 a day. See?
That degree's
That
$10
proves right
more
there.
an
College ain't worth it.
Yeah, that really is
bucks.
bad.
10 whole
Come on.
dollars.
I'll pay $100 a day not to do that.
She said, hold on, that's bad. Did you give me bad data, Teresa? I'm live on a podcast.
We're
No,
at
well,
54 minutes now.
Yeah,
We
fixing
got to
get out
wrap
here.
it up.
I've
Hey,
been-
that's close enough.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
sad,
I
whatever
think
it is.
I was about. I think it was $55.
Oh, if
in
you're
the
a
90s.
certified teacher, $100 a day.
There you go. Still.
Certified
Sad.
teacher.
Hopefully, if you're certified.
So how many?
you're a
What
teacher.
are the hours? When does she go? Is that from 7:30 to
Let's see,
2:30?
Based on, it don't say.
Because I'm trying to think. 8:30, 9:30,
7
10:30.
hours.
Yeah, so
7 hours.
$10 an hour, roughly.
Close enough.
That's pretty rough.
That's about when I get paid. Kidding. That's a joke.
Well, I'm just saying that's a whole. You might want to go sub on your Fridays. They're looking for somebody right now.
No.
Make
Yeah.
that extra
Absolutely.
$100. Put it in
And
the
you
Can you
gym.
imagine as nervous as I am? I'd walk in with a full suit every day. The full COVID suit.
So you could do your voices. I mean,
Yeah.
so you could entertain
Everybody.
them.
Yeah, I'd be like,
So I would say, just to wrap it up, that like for me as a leader, because again, I was a late adopter and I was a problem early on. I think that being a part of the church, anybody listening that's part of the church, that we just got to lead by example and just wear the mask, play by the rules, be a problem solver, not a creator of problems.
Well, I got a message coming, not this week. I'm going on vacation. I got 2 messages before I go on vacation. I'm not going to address it then. I'm going to think about what I'm going to say over vacation before I come back with a message. But I got a message on that particular topic
Okay.
that I
look forward to that.
yeah, because there's some things that bug me, but there's some stuff that, it's tough.
Sorry, I've got to add this
Oh,
in.
okay.
Because you said basically it's $60 to $70 a day, depending on your level of education. But Russian gets extra money if you sub at Russian. You said it's the only school where you get extra money. ...
because it's that bad.
So don't know why, but if you're listening out there,
That's the Russian Rams, man. That's right there by us.
I know it's
I'm
close.
for 'em. They got a good baseball field.
But Ryan, man, I appreciate you
Yes.
sharing
Thanks for having me.
firsthand experience of your COVID-19.
Well, the reason we
It's a
brought you in
COVID
is because
survivor.
we've got to make sure they know
That's
it's
right.
real.
That's real.
It is real, and we're going to try to do all we can to make sure that we do what we can to be a part of the solution.
We're going
And
to do
to
all we
stay
can to do what we
healthy.
can to be part of the can.
That sounds like a politician, didn't it?
Man, good. No, you made me
We're
nauseous.
going to be a part
Yeah.
of
Thanks,
the
Joe
solution.
Biden.
Hey, at least I'm not debating myself.
We're going to do all we can to do what we can to do everything that we can. We can. 2020. Let's get out of here on that
right.
note.
My God.
See
Thank you,
Ryan.
Ryan. You're the best.
All
Thank
right.
you for helping us.